Welcome to the Abby Effect. Yeah, I don't know if that name's gonna stick yet, but I'm Abby. Welcome back to my channel. I want to give a shout out to my 190 subscribers. I like to say it's my not so big podcast, but not so small podcast. The last time I recorded, I think I had like 173 subscribers. Now I'm at 190. So I just want to say thank you for everybody that subscribed and everybody that's leaving the comments. I love reading the comments, the good, the bad, and the ugly, which I have gotten a few. And I do try my best to reply if I see it. So also the negative ones too, because I like the interaction. But anyway, I'm snowed in tonight. It's cold. That's why it's a hoodie day. Also, but the fact that I'm matching the background is pretty cool. Wasn't on purpose. But if you do hear me with the sniffles, I apologize in advance. I am still fighting this cold. I can't shake off. It's been about, I think it's day 3 now, but today's actually the first day that I'm out of bed and I'm not with any body aches and I'm good to go. So just a little sniffles. I wanted to do this video. It's an actual, like for me personally, it's a very disturbing one. I feel, and I'm going to speak for myself, that I've always felt like our government is corrupt. There's some form of corruption that goes on in federal government, right? But I don't know, right? I don't have a way to prove it. You don't have a way to prove it. You know, we have people who put their lives on the line, like, you know, the Edward Snowdens of the world or the Julian Assanges of the world. And then you get called, what's the number one? You're a kook, you're crazy. And it's just everyday people that want the world to know the truth about what's going on behind the scenes in our federal government. And my heart goes out to these whistleblowers because once they get that label of being crazy or domestic threat or this or that, their lives are essentially ruined. And I believe that there are some good people in the world that try to put this information out to help the greater good. And it wasn't until today that I started researching more in depth the Epstein files, where I'm convinced this corruption goes deep and there's nobody you can trust in the federal government. I know there are a few possibly good people. I think everybody goes into thinking they want to do the right thing. They want to fight for their constituents. They want to fight for the country. But guys, it's really, really ugly. I came across this page by Voidzilla. He has 1.3 million followers. I don't follow him. I just came across it on YouTube. And it's an 11-minute video that I'm gonna play and hopefully make sense of what's going on. Guys, this is an important video. I want everybody to, if you can, share it, comment, get it in the algorithm. I'm gonna do some like shorts, it's like some reels to try to get it out there. I'm also gonna provide the links to the Jeffrey Epstein last release that was not released, but these guys got it released. It'll make sense when I play the video, so you guys can do the research yourself. There was files that weren't released that should have been released, but subsequently released by these guys that figured out how to get them out. It goes back to, I'm gonna let the video play. He does a better job obviously explaining it because it's his video and it's his discovery. And so I do want to give a shout out to this page, which is Voidzilla. And then he mentioned 2 other, I think Jmail. Shout out to Jmail, Dropsite, and Voidzilla that got the information. This video will make sense. I'm gonna play it now and I'll give you my I guess my feedback and talk about what I did with the files. So I'm gonna play it now so you guys can enjoy this. It's psycho, guys. This is absolutely crazy. So just bear with me. It's an 11-minute video. I'm gonna try to breeze through it, but everything that this guy's talking about, you have to pay attention to.
The FBI just accidentally released 11,000 Jeffrey Epstein files that they hadn't publicly put out yet, but we got access to them. And at the end of this video, I'm going to show you how to access them. Here's what that looks like. It's volume 8 of the files, but you can see right now that they've only released 7 data sets. And so myself, the guys at Jmail, and the guys at Dropsite, we've been investigating this. I've partnered with them to kind of look at some of these files. And they got access to volume 8 early. You would just type it in the URL It wasn't like indexable on search, but you could just type in the specific URL and it would just come up. You could download the entire zip file, and that's what we did. We've been looking through it. I want to go over some of it because I believe some of what we've seen directly contradicts the FBI's earlier statement that, oh, there's no evidence, or we did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties. That's what they told us, right? They said, we've already looked through the files. You don't need to see the files back in July. Of course, all the pressure has made them now start releasing some of this stuff. And we believe that this was slated for release, but remember, they weren't going to release all the files yet. They had to hold some back. Well, we believe that these 11,000 files are part of what they held back, because clearly they aren't out, and clearly they were ready, because a lot of these are redacted. I mean, already you can see we found several files that were, once again, over 100 pages of redacted information. So it was all ready to be released. It's unclear why it wasn't. But let me caveat before we get into the material that this is a breaking story, and as such, I'm sure there's going to be some pieces of information that we are interpreting or trying to interpret live. And because of that, I want to warn you to withhold your judgment on some of this stuff until we get more evidence. I'm sure the president's going to be asked about some of this stuff. I'm sure Todd Blanche, Pam Bondi, they're going to get asked about this because it is extremely damning, I think.
Sorry, I just realized my mic was on mute. I'm going to post in the description the link that takes you to the files so you guys can do what I did and find out for yourselves what the hell's in them. It's actually, it's crazy.
What we see in some of this, specifically, I want to draw your attention immediately to the 10 co-conspirators that are mentioned in some of these emails in 2019. Now, this is just alarming stuff because prior to this, remember that all we really had was Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. That's the only people who have ever faced any charges at all. Ghislaine Maxwell, the only one who actually faced consequences, right? But in 2019, apparently there were 10 co-conspirators. Now, the people who were sending this to and from have been blacked out, but at the bottom, we see that this is the violent crime section, crimes against human trafficking unit. And we can see that of the 10 co-conspirators, 3 have been located in Florida, served grand jury subpoenas, 1 in Boston, 1 in New York City, 1 in Connecticut were served. 4 out of the 10 are outstanding with attempts having been made. What is a wealthy businessman in Ohio? A lead is being sent to CV, and the remaining 3 are currently out of pocket. This is stunning stuff. Previously, we did not know how many co-conspirators were suspected of, or I'm not aware of anything like that. And additionally, some of the details on this are revealed later because we see this subject line. It says co-conspirators at the top, and it says blank does not need to head out. We made contact with blank last night in New York City, blank last night in New York. Contact was made with blank, blank, and blank. By the way, I love how these potential co-conspirators are people who are being blacked out. Like, why? I thought the whole point of this was you couldn't redact people for personal information reasons or for public embarrassment. You could only redact on the basis of it being a victim. And I'm not sure how these people could possibly be victims.
Guys, you understand what he's saying, right? What he's saying is that the names they are redacting is not the names of victims or survivors. They're protecting the people that were partaking in this, the co-conspirators. So the fact that our federal government, Pam Bondi, who leads the Department of Justice, is redacting these names, that is not transparent. And if you guys remember, November 19th, you had the Democratic Congressman Ro Khan and Thomas Massey, who I love, come up with the Jeffrey Epstein Transparency Act. The DOJ had a month, which was December 19th, if I'm not mistaken. They had a month to release the files with no redacting. So Pam Bondi needs to be held in contempt, if I'm using the word correctly. Kash Patel, who's the director of the FBI, I'm going to show a video on him as well. They are all literally committing crimes. Like, I don't understand how this hasn't blown up. Now, again, I apologize if you guys knew this and you know this information. I just been here just kind of just on the computer, researching things, and I'm just flabbergasted. I'll let the video play, but this is pure insanity.
Here.
Epstein Files Transparency Act prohibits redactions, quote, on the basis of embarrassment, reputational harm, or political sensitivity. Has anything been redacted on that basis?
Absolutely, positively not.
But anyways, you can see that it says attempts were made to blank and Brunel, that's Jean-Luc Brunel, the famous who's now dead. Blank is confirmed to live in New York.
Sorry, I'm gonna try my best to not interrupt as much because I hate when people do that. So I do apologize. But look how strategic the FBI or the DOJ, let's just say the DOJ, which umbrellas everybody and all these 3-letter agencies. Look how strategic that they're being, that they are redacting all these names, such as da, 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 but they're not gonna redact this guy who's dead. So they don't need to redact his name because he's dead. So they don't have to protect his name. This is such bullshit. Sorry for swearing. Sorry for being worked up. This is just, it's annoying.
Was away for the holiday weekend. We did not have a good address, but an attempt was made in New York. Attempts are made to Maxwell today. Blank. You get it. Like, it's all the people they suspected this whole time are redacted, of course. And they say, I do not know about Ohio contacting Wexner. Now, that's a reference to Les Wexner, the former CEO of Victoria's Secret. This is huge. We've long suspected that he was, of course, one of the co-conspirators. And obviously, the fact the FBI suspected it isn't a 100% proof confirmation. But clearly, they were serving grand jury subpoenas. I mean, that must be who they're talking about, one wealthy businessman in Ohio, because later it's confirmed by this whole idea of Ohio contacting Wexner. And you can see at the bottom, this is from the FBI New York. When you get a chance, give me an update on the status of the 10 co-conspirators. This is really bad to know that we knew as early as 2019 the right people to target, and yet our FBI, who's had evidence of this the entire time, or leads on it, has declined to prosecute, right? Because this is what the FBI now tells us. Oh, don't bother. Don't worry about it. That's what they wanted us to believe in July. Fast forward to December, we find out there's 10 guys that they knew about since like 6 years ago. It's insane. Even over here, we see that in one of the lawsuits, I believe this is with Maxwell, the government actually wanted to refer to people at trial as co-conspirators of the defendant, aka Maxwell, for the purposes of a rule. And then they say Jeffrey Epstein, and then there are 2 names listed there who are going to be listed as co-conspirators. Again, who are those people? We were told that the only co-conspirator now is Maxwell, and if you don't believe that, you're crazy, you're a conspiracy theorist. But back in 2020, this was an idea not just promulgated by wackos, it was promulgated by who? The FBI themselves, the Department of Justice. Look at this. Co-conspirator question transcript. This is from USA NYS. They say, question, when Jeffrey Epstein died, a lot of people asked, who's next? Is the government going to hold people who are accused of helping him recruit these girls? Are they going to hold them accountable? And then the answer is, well, I'll note that the original charges against Jeffrey Epstein contained a conspiracy charge, and we allege that there were conspirators involved. Jeffrey Epstein couldn't have done what he did without the assistance of others. And I can assure you that our investigation is moving forward, except I guess not. Against everyone except for Ghislaine Maxwell, it got killed. Like, Ghislaine Maxwell was the only one who faced justice, right? Except then she got moved to Club Fed, to this nice prison, right? And by the way, that a whole interesting interview we saw happen with Todd Blanche, which is Trump's former defense lawyer. So he got grilled on Meet the Press about his relationship. Like, why did Ghislaine Maxwell go to this nicer prison immediately afterwards? And while he declines to comment on it, he says something very interesting.
Why was she moved just days after you interviewed her, Mr. Blanche?
So that's a Bureau of Prisons security issue that I will not talk about.
Did you have anything to do with it? Did you have anything to do with it?
Let me finish. First of all, I am responsible for the Bureau of Prisons. So every decision that they make lands on my desk to the extent it needs to. But just let me talk about the security issue. At the time that I met Ms. Maxwell, there was a tremendous amount of scrutiny and publicity towards her. And the institution she was in, she was suffering numerous threats against her life. So the BOP is not only responsible for putting people in jail and making sure they stay in jail, but also for their safety.
All right, so he's like, yeah, that's crazy. No, I'm not going to talk about that. But every decision lands on my desk. I mean, eventually he...
Also, how much was her life in danger when she was in protective custody? I know for a fact when you're PC, yeah, things can happen, but you're very, 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 very monitored. So I think he's full of shit.
He goes on to say that, oh, she was in so much danger. We were worried about her safety as a prisoner. I just got to say, there's a lot of concern about Ghislaine Maxwell. All of a sudden, I don't know where that came from. There's not a lot of concern about these conspirators that I guess we've swept under the rug, that we don't care about anymore since 2019. Guess we knew about them and didn't care. And what's even more concerning is our president also seems concerned with the wrong people. Like, while Todd Blanche is concerned about Ghislaine Maxwell's safety and well-being, you've got Trump concerned about the people who are going to be unfairly implicated in the Jeffrey Epstein files, rather than worrying about how to catch the people that we obviously let go through the cracks.
The victims were protesting that too many of them were redacted.
I know there are a lot of people that are angry about all of the pictures of other people, but I think it's terrible. Look, I like Bill Clinton. I've always gotten along with Bill Clinton. I've been nice to him. He's been nice to me. We've always gotten along. Respect him. I hate to see photos come out of him, but this is what the Democrats, mostly Democrats, and a couple of bad Republicans are asking for. So they give me their photos of me too. Everybody was friendly with this guy. I think it's a terrible thing. I think Bill Clinton's a big boy. He can handle it. But you probably have pictures being exposed of other people that innocently met Jeffrey Epstein years ago, many years ago.
Now, I'll be honest, he gets off track from here, but the point he was making is that those poor, innocent, bankers who were meeting with Epstein, the poor lawyers who were meeting with Epstein, like all of Epstein's friends are just caught up in this unfortunate thing. And it's just such a reversal of what previously the DOJ and FBI believed. In fact, they believed it so much that they got a federal search warrant for the SDNY, and they got it. And part of the seizable data, part of the stuff that they commanded them to seize as part of the search warrant, which, by the way, I think you need some kind of like standard of evidence for. I'm not a lawyer. You guys can chime in. But you can't just get a search warrant without some kind of evidence that you believe there's a crime that's been committed. And part of it says evidence concerning the identity or location of co-conspirators of Jeffrey Epstein, including blank and Ghislaine Maxwell. So again, who is blank? Well, they keep redacting the names of these co-conspirators uncharged, remember, and now they're saying we have no evidence to charge anybody. Clearly, they had evidence for a search warrant, and it's just completely ridiculous that some of this stuff is redacted and that we're viewing the rich and powerful people who are mentioned as the victims here. Now, that's all I want to talk about for now. Remember, this is a developing story, so there's, I'm sure, going to be more evidence that comes out. I will try to keep you updated. I'm probably going to cover more of this stuff in the future because there's so much here. But I had to get this out while it was basically not public yet. I mean, I think it's eventually going to be public. When, we don't know. But you can access all of it at jmail.world. I'll leave a link in the description. They have a special drive section. The original pitch was it's like email, but you're logged in as Jeffrey Epstein. Now they've made it like the entire Google account, so you can log into his drive folder and all that kind of stuff. It's fun. It's a great UI, but more importantly, it makes it all very searchable and you can look at it. I think you'll all really enjoy it. I also wanted to give a special shout out to the Drop Site team. And finally, we just uploaded on CoffeeZilla. I don't like to upload the same day on both channels because it kind of cannibalizes views. This is such a breaking story that I decided to break my rule. But if you could go, please give that a watch. It's a really great story that we spent a lot of time on, and I'd appreciate it if you check that out as well.
Okay. So I had to share this because that was a lot of information. And I do apologize that I let the video continue after that. But subscribe to his channel. He has 1.4, 1.3 roughly million followers. I don't know who he is, but he did a fantastic job at explaining on how he retrieved it. So basically, he just entered the following HTML, whatever the website is, or the actual link. It wasn't like indexed, meaning like I think I have. So like this is. So this is like the DOJ's page. So when he says that it wasn't indexed, that means that there wasn't a link here. He showed it. It was like volume 6, volume 7, volume 8 was missing. But yeah, anyway. So everything we've been told obviously is all bullshit. I did have the DOJ's website up because I wanted to show that in February I did a small video. I mean, I keep saying small, but a short video talking about Pam Bondi and how much of a disgrace she was, especially in regards to the Jeffrey Epstein files. But this letter she published in, I want to say February 27th, was when she was kind of just holding the FBI's office accountable for not releasing excuse me, the files, which is absolute bullshit. You know, it's this seesaw, right? It's this, there are no files, there's no client lists, this is a hoax, there's this, there's that, and it's just the American people want answers. So I did a little bit of digging, and you'll be very surprised to see some of the things I found, which you can find too. I'm gonna post all this. I'm by my, you know, I run this little show by myself, this channel by myself, so I don't have people that can help me, excuse me, go through the you know, the whole file, which is, it's like a million documents, something crazy. It's like altogether it's like a million, but I think this one was like 11,000 pages. I don't, whatever he just said, it was a lot. So me just browsing on my own and just, you know, searching in the box certain keywords and, you know, stuff like that, I found some interesting things that I think it's worth, you know, it's worth checking out. And I'm gonna show you guys. I made a folder for it, so I'm just gonna open it up. One of the things that I thought was interesting was that, I don't know why it says error, but it should work. Was that he was complaining about Ghislaine Maxwell's, I guess, what do you call it? Like her safety and stuff. But in the files, I was able to find, let me see if I pull it up right here. It's gonna show up as a Word document when I show it because of the way I saved it. But again, I'm gonna link in the description the actual file or the actual website that takes you to the file that these guys created. Again, shout out to Voidzilla, Dropsite, and Jmail for doing this for the public because they got it out right in time. So I'm assuming that the DOJ is still in the process of redacting. So maybe you guys can find some stuff that you could bring out to the public. Again, I'm by myself. I don't have a lot of time to do it on my own. But I did find some stuff that I thought was worth checking out. So in regards to Ghislaine, this guy who it's his job to oversee the prisons and stuff like that. Let's see if it's gonna open up. It's showing me an error, but there was an email that was sent to the warden. It's showing me an error. Why am I not surprised right now? Great. I thought I downloaded it, guys. It's not coming up. So I'll just tell you what it was. And you guys don't have to believe me, but just go on the link and find it. But anyway, it was an email addressed to the warden on behalf of an inmate's attorney. It was another inmate. It was like a Spanish name, basically saying this person has the same exact charges as Ghislaine Maxwell, which is human trafficking. However, Ghislaine is getting special treatment over my client. Why is this happening? How do we rectify this? And it was very specific. Now I'm actually intrigued to see if all my stuff is not going to work, if there's going to be an error. But it was very specific in, like, even like the amount of time that Ghislaine got on the computer, the amount of time she got in the rec yard, like very specific in how these two inmates have the same correctional trajectory, meaning the same charges, facing probably the same time, but the treatment was different. So no, that guy that was on, I should have gotten his name, that's responsible for the prisons, he's full of shit. She got special treatment. I'm so disappointed that, I'll show this page at least so you guys can see. I'm so disappointed that it's showing an error, but right here, if you can see, I have a bunch of errors, but some of them are opening. Right here where it says Maxwell special treatment, when I open it, it's giving me an error. I'm not like a tech person, so this is why I'm struggling right now. But it was there, and I'll try my best to you guys are gonna be able to look for this. It's just when I show you the actual link, I'm gonna show you how I found some stuff, basically just by putting in some keywords. I'm sure there has to be an easier way for the tech savvy guys. Is there like I don't know, comment below. Is there some type of program that you can implement these files and it'll identify pertinent information or keywords, or even ChatGPT? Again, I'm not savvy in this, but I will show you what I found. So yeah, that guy's full of shit. Maxwell was getting special treatment. So because I'm not sure what's going to show up as an error or not, I'm just going to go down in order. So if I am all over the place, it's because I am. What I will show you is I'm going to go to the actual file. Let me find it. I'm going to go to the actual file and show you guys how it looks. And then maybe you guys can see and kind of understand why the heck it was so hard for me to like find stuff. So basically this is what it's going to look like, right? The link is going to be like, it's going to be attached in my description for the video. But when you get here, you're going to go to the files and you're going to go, you want to go to the Jeffrey Epstein. So you see how there's persons of interest. So it would be like a lane and you'll find a bunch of stuff for each. Well, you want to look for the volume 8 that wasn't supposed to be leaked or wasn't supposed to be released. And these guys leaked it. You're going to go to Jeffrey Epstein. And then what you want to do is you want to go to the DOJ. Go to the DOJ, and then you see how you have volume 1. All these volumes, shout out to these guys again. Guys, thank you so much for putting this out there. You have all these volumes all the way to 7 that was released by the DOJ on the DOJ website, if I still have it up. So the actual DOJ website did publish the volumes 1 through 7. But again, like he stated in his video, volume 8 was not out, but they were able to log into it by just changing the link up here, and they found it. My assumption is pretty clear that they weren't done redacting. So this is it here. I'll show you. And like he explained, they just made it a drive, and it's titled Jeffrey Epstein. So it's essentially like a proxy drive, like a fake drive that has all this information uploaded that anybody can access. So you can access it too. So again, I'm gonna post this so you guys can check it out. So yeah, so you want to do is you want to go to the files, you want to go to Jeffrey Epstein, and then you want to go to the DOJ. Once you go to DOJ, it's gonna have all the volumes that the DOJ did put out. But what you want to do is, at first, this thing here, it drove me nuts, and I was like, "Why is this in the way? It's so annoying." Until I started messing around with it, and then I realized, holy, this has a lot of information. And we'll touch into that in a second. I'm going to make this a little bigger because I can't see behind it, and I want to make sure because there's going to be 2 volume 8s. This is what I'll do. I'll bring it on this window. It'll show bigger. All right. This is the one you want to click on. For some reason, let me try to bring it back. I have a dual screen, like I have 2 screens, so it's a little hard to get everything on my satellite screen because it's a little smaller. So again, I'm not tech savvy. So I'm gonna bring this back over here and see if that worked. Okay, yeah. So I literally just had to mess with the size over here. So if you can see, there's volume 8, 1, volume 8, 2, but the volume 8 official DOJ latest is what you want to click on. And this is where I found some of the interesting stuff. So when you come here, you're going to have like a bunch of information. These are all just files, emails. I'm sure the one big thing you guys notice is that a lot of it is redacted. Look, redacted, a lot of information redacted. A lot of it, it's you'll find like logs from the correction officers, which it was funny for me to see their observational list, which is like when a person's on suicide watch in custody, when they're in jail or prison, you have to like keep tabs, like what are they doing every 15 minutes. And theirs was very specific, where if the inmate was sitting or standing, or at one point it said that the inmate stated that his cellmate tried to kill him. So it's very detailed, but it's a lot of redacting. Again, the Transparency Act, which I think I have it up here. Let me see if I have it open still. The Transparency Act, right? That was proposed by Rokan and Thomas Massey, clearly states, in general, this was November 19th. It was a month ago, 2025. In general, no later than 30 days after the date of the enactment of this act, the Attorney General, aka Pam Bondi, shall subject to subsection B, make publicly available in a searchable and downloadable format all unclassified records, documents, communications, and investigative materials in the possession of the Department of Justice, including the FBI. It's pretty clear. It's abundantly clear. This is what she should have done. And here we are, December 27th, as the time of, I'm recording this video. Well, it's after 12 a.m. So yeah, it's technically the 27th. None of this should have been redacted. It should have been clear and accessible for anybody to view. I got a lot of pages open, guys. Sorry. Okay. So going back to this again. So that little page that I said was annoying before, I started scrolling through it and I wish it would come back up. Oh, there it goes. And I found some interesting things that I found that I thought were kind of disturbing. I'll go through my images and I'll show you what I took a screenshot, but I used that, like, the snipping tool app, and then I'll show you guys how to get there. But there was some disturbing text messages that I thought were kind of questionable. So there was a text thread. Let me try to move this out the way and bring this back over here. Between, and I just have like these silly names as them saved so I know what I'm referencing. But let me share the screen so you guys can see this as well. So this is from Epstein's phone, and he has Steve Bannon, Melanie Walker, who is, I had to Google these people because a lot of them I didn't know. Melanie Walker, who is she's married to somebody that used to work at Microsoft, like a big guy at Microsoft. Let me see, you guys seeing this? Okay, perfect. So I should probably, all right. So you got text, and I screenshotted this picture because I thought it was interesting. So it says, so Anthony Scaramucci, he worked for like 10 days in 2017 under the Trump administration. I think he was like some type of communications director. And again, guys, I'm trying my best here because this is a one-man show. So all this is me by myself trying to figure out what the hell's going on in the world. Let me just open up another page because I think I literally, here we go. Nope, that's not it. I literally lost everything that I was that I had open. Here we go. Okay. So I looked this guy up because I didn't know who the heck he was. And I'll bring it up here. So this guy, the reason I searched if he ever lived in Connecticut was because in one of the messages, which I'll show after, he's supposed to meet up with Jeffrey Epstein, and he's saying, hey, I can't tonight. I'm in Connecticut. I'm in Northern Connecticut, like moving my kid into his dorm. And if you remember what Voidzilla said on his video was that one of the co-conspirators was from New York. Now, remember, the name was redacted, so we don't know who it is. I'm sorry, from Connecticut. So the name was redacted. We don't know who it is. I'm just kind of trying to connect the dots here. Like, okay, this guy's kid goes to college in Connecticut. Did he ever live in Connecticut? Because one of the co-conspirators was from Connecticut. So this guy, he was an attorney, but I'm pretty sure he worked under the Trump administration for like 10 days. Let me see if I find it. He's an American lawyer. Scaramucci worked at Goldman Sachs. Here we go. On July 21st, 2017, Scaramucci was appointed White House Communications Director. Days into the job, Scaramucci provoked controversy after launching a strongly worded attack on the members of the Trump administration. At this time in 2017, I did not vote for Trump at that time. I was vote blue no matter who. I was like feminist, crazy, Democrat. So none of these names I would have not known any of these names because I had zero interest in the Trump administration at the time. I'll keep reading. Give me 1 second. Okay, so I lied. I thought I was going to be snowed in, which I am snowed in, but I had to step out. You can't tell, but I just came in from outside. We got a lot of inches. But my niece needed a ride from, my cheeks are so cold, so sorry. My niece needed a ride from work, and she called me, so I went and gave her a ride. But back to this guy. That's where we were, right? Yep, so we saw that on July 21st, that's when he became the White House Communications Director, and then shortly after they got rid of him, right? So now I want to show the text messages that he exchanged with Epstein. Let me bring it right back up. It's crazy that I could just jump right in, even though I literally just took forever to go pick up my niece. It's really bad out there, thank God. It was my first time driving my new Jeep in the snow, so it was exciting. All right. I screenshotted this because I thought it was interesting. But again, it's Anthony Scaramucci, who did work under the Trump administration for 10 days. Jeffrey's in the blue. He's gray. So if you're an iPhone user, you know that you're blue when you're sending the message. And gray is who the recipient. So he goes, I'm around. Going to try and make it back. Trump CFO Weisselberg now said to have been granted immunity. Not good. And what did Jeffrey Epstein reply to that? To say the least, he knows all. That could be interpreted a bunch of different ways, right? It could mean, I don't know, like, what does he know? I thought that was a little fishy. This is what stood out to me about this text message thread. This was in 2018, 2019, I believe. So it was time after he had been let go by the administration. This is what stood out to me the most. The establishment hates Trump. The good news is they are getting him resign. I think he meant they're probably going to make him resign by finding illegality rather than doing what they did to JFK. And his response is, yep. Who is they and what did they do? I think we know who they is. And I think we know what they did. Right? Talking about what, CIA, the FBI, the DOJ. But he says it here. The establishment hates Trump. So I thought that was interesting to look at. We'll show you a bunch of other ones. This has been all over the news, which I saw this. Again, some of them when they open up as a Word document when I saved it, but it'll be in the link so you can see it for yourself. And this is basically the USANYS, which is the United States Attorney's Southern District of New York, the SDNY. I believe that's what it is, the court, or the FBI rather. Congrats again. Hey, PCU, as you likely may have seen, heard at this point last evening, we arrested Jeffrey Epstein on sex trafficking charges. Epstein is in custody and will be presented in arraigned. This is this case is incredibly an important one. Not only is the conduct extremely serious and deeply disturbing, but our charges ensure that dozens, if not more, of Epstein's victims, who were as young as 14 at the time, they were abused, will finally have their day in court. It is extraordinary worthy prosecution and just the latest example of how this unit will never shy away from bringing tough cases against powerful people who have committed grievous crimes. Where's that energy today in the FBI? Anybody know? Where's that energy today? Please join me and blah, 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 in extending a very well-deserved congratulations to the team. So they were happy that they had enough to charge this guy. And it just seems like all that hard work all the way from 2007, when it started, I believe. Look at the date. I guess you could look at it if I add it back on the stage right here. Sunday, July 7th, 2019. So 2019, they had enough to get this guy. Not to mention what Voidzilla put on his page. They had names of the co-conspirators. So I thought that was an interesting one. So again, I'm just sharing things that I thought stuck out to me. Let's see. I'll show you guys how I have it named, just so you guys know that while it's a little ghetto the way I did my work, again, I'm not a professional. I'll show you guys how it looks on my end, so I can at least show that, the best transparency on my side. So again, it's saying error. I don't know why. If anybody knows why that's doing that, somebody let me know. But I thought this was interesting. the when she got denied, when Ghislaine Maxwell got denied bail, they came up with a letter. Is it going to be an error? Yeah, guys, I don't know why this is showing up like this. On the file itself, it let me download each one individually. I don't know why it's doing that. But anyway, on the letter, it basically stated, it gave examples of like, what is the definition of human trafficking, kind of like trying to convince the judge that she should have a bail where she can pay money and just given a PTA, which is a promise to appear. Like you pay the bond and then you just come to court on your hearing. But obviously we know that didn't happen. What else? Melanie Walker, this bitch. See if it saves. Okay, this is again, guys, these are just snippets that I took, but then I'm going to show you the actual messages. These are just information that I thought it kind of stuck out to me. This lady, Melanie Walker, I had to look her up because I didn't know who she was. Guys, I have a lot of things open. This lady. So she's a neurosurgeon. So she's really big on the health spectrum of like the elite. And he had hired her for something. I think I had it open somewhere, but let's just click on it together. Who is Melanie S. Walker, glamorous. I don't know how these pop-ups, whatever. Glamorous neurosurgeon and wife of ex-Microsoft boss, introduced Bill Gates to Jeffrey Epstein. So he used to work for Microsoft and she introduced the two. So the person who brought Microsoft founder Bill Gates and pedophile Jeffrey Epstein is a glamorous neurosurgeon who was hired by the convicted pedophile as his science advisor. What is a science advisor? I thought he's a financier or a teacher at school. This guy held so many positions, but this is who this lady is. And I wanted to go and show the text message. They're talking about money and taxes and stuff like that. So she says, right now, there are funny loopholes we figured out how to exploit, like exercising expenditure responsibility on foreign grants so we could still count as charitable, or giving to UN or international organizations, but embarking for polio, etc., when not a single dollar ever benefited USA. I know where all these loopholes are because I helped find them. How crazy is this? Am I reading too much into this? I don't know. Then J.E. says, when I say J.E., guys, it's Jeffrey Epstein. Understood. I'm good at that. However, Bill should be careful, very careful, as Donald can make an example of him using American dollars to help other than America, which really needs it. Careful. So this is a blatant like, and you know, people, sorry about that. People can come and say, oh, Donald Trump was part of it as well. You know what? I believe it. I think Don ended up being the con. It is what it is. Like I said in mostly all my videos, if not most of them, that I did vote for Trump, and now I am pretty much regretting my vote. I'll do a video not next time, but I'll do a video in the future when I'm ready to talk about if I regret my vote and why I regret my vote. But this is weird, right? That they're just blatantly, this is just a casual conversation between rich people just saying, hey, these loopholes exist because I found them. So I thought that was interesting. And then another one that I thought, I'm just going to go. This was an interesting one. BG was, which I'm assuming is Bill Gates. BG, very interested in Middle East right now. J.E. says, Jeffrey Epstein says, Dubai, Saudi, ? Qatar, all very, very good buds. Israel plus Emirates and sort of Saudi. Qatar too. He wants me to arrange a learning trip on technologies emerging from the region. I think Israel, a whole separate thing. Israel - tell Bill Paris week of 21. So we know for certain that BG, like I assumed, oh guys, I'm so sorry. I never put it on the screen. I'm an idiot. So sorry about that. I'll post it up. That's my bad. Yeah, real quick. So she says, BG, again, the reason I think it's Bill Gates is because one of his responses over here, he puts tell Bill. So very interesting. BG is very interested in Middle East right now. Dubai, Saudi, or Qatar, all very good. Again, guys, I apologize because I'm just a one-man show here and I do everything myself. Israel plus Emirates and sort of Saudi. Qatar too. He wants me to arrange a learning trip on technologies emerging from the region. I think Israel a whole separate thing. Then he says, Israel, tell Bill Paris week of 21. So when he says Bill, for me, he's confirming that that's Bill Gates, especially because her husband used to work for him. So I thought that was interesting. Why the hell is Jeffrey Epstein concerned with student debt? Here we go. He's texting Larry Summers. Again, Larry Summers is an American economist. He served as the 71st United States Secretary of Treasury from 1999 to 2001. And then he's the Harvard mix of it all. He served as the president of Harvard from 2001 to 2006. And then he's currently at the Harvard Kennedy School. So he's an economist, which he knows money. He knows, and also not to mention he was the Secretary of the Treasury for the US. So this is the guy he's texting. And the conversation goes as follows. Let me see. Where the heck did it go? I'm going to open it again because I don't know where I put it. Here we go. This is from Jeffrey to Larry. If Bernie were to cancel all student debt, how is that reflected on government books? That's a pretty valid question. And he's talking to the right person about it. He's asking an economist. Do the borrowers get income? Then he responds, I doubt borrowers get income, but not certain. If they did, many who struggle with debt service would get a whopping tax bill. I suspect a balance sheet impact, but not a deficit impact. Depends on whether it's framed as a giveaway or recognition of reality. And then he goes into how's the rehab. My mathematics guys all said that propensity of the common man to put numbers on things where they don't belong is the answer to the odds, probability, questions, etc. The guy is, when a lot of the messages that Jeffrey puts out in these text message threads, he almost sounds like ChatGPT. I'm not going to lie. Okay, I just muted it real quick because my dog is coughing in the background. What else we got here? I thought this was interesting, and I thought that this should have been a big deal. Oh man, I hope it shows. Hold on. Because of the error. Here we go. This was in 2008, and the reason I thought this was of importance is because it talks about how Epstein's lawyers and his team, they were trying to go after some of the victims. So I'll read it really quickly. Hi, blank. I'm hoping that you have an update from blank. I wanted to fill you in on recent events. Remember, this is back in March 2008, so it was a while ago. Yesterday, we did the first half of the grand jury presentation on the indictment. Many of the grand jurors expressed thanks for our team, for our return. I don't know where I got team from. After a break, as I walked into the room, I overheard one juror telling another that he had been concerned that we're going to whitewash this case and not charge it. Epstein's lawyers are using the civil lawsuits as an excuse to harass a number of victims. One girl, and there's a long sentence that's redacted, to be served with a subpoena for deposition. It is scheduled Monday. So it kind of just sounds like they're trying to, basically says it right here, they're trying to harass a number of the victims. What stuck out to me the most was this part, which is kind of sad. It says, it's wearing thin. I also told such and such that one of our victims tried to commit suicide last week. That's huge. So in 2008, these young girls are going through this, and one of them even attempted to herself. And I never heard of that. So it's disturbing to read. I thought that was sad. So in 2008, seeing that, it makes it more real. It makes it more like, justice needs to be had for these girls. I just felt really bad reading that. Another thing that I found was this. This was found at the property of Jeffrey Epstein. It was just a bowl of condoms. Like a bowl of condoms that are called Trump condoms. Like low key, honestly, it's not even low key, man. High key, DJT is like a pig, man. He's disgusting. And a part of me, I remember, like sometimes it would turn into arguments, but I remember like talking to friends about why I voted for Trump. And a lot of them giving me a lot of heat saying, how can you vote for a man that said, grab them by the, you know what? And I genuinely felt like it was locker room talk, like guys talk like that in the locker room. And, I have a lot of guy friends and I have brothers that, I've heard banter. But I think I just wanted to believe that. If I'm being honest and if I'm being vulnerable, I think I wanted to just believe that and having an excuse or a reason to justify that kind of talk. I don't know, guys, men, if you're watching this, if you're still with me, I know it's a weird long video, or it feels like it's long because I did so much in the interim, but is that how guys talk? So I took this picture. It's kind of like expanded because I wanted it to come out in its entirety like this. But if you see, this is from the page of the file. So what I did was I did a close-up, which cut it in half, but just to let you see that this is where I retrieved it from. It wasn't like I found this and made it up. This is from the Jeffrey Epstein J drive that these guys put together so we can be privy to this information. It's sick stuff, and it sucks. And then obviously the big one was it did come out in the news because I did hear that part was as of 2020. So this is 5 years ago that this information the FBI had. For your situational awareness, which is a very eloquent way to put it if you think about it. I might use that in the future. For your situational awareness, wanted to let you know that the flight records we received yesterday reflect that DJT, Donald Trump, traveled on Epstein's private jet many more times than previously had been reported. So the big argument was like, oh, Bill Clinton was on it 27 times. Guess what? Donald Trump was on it a lot of times too. We didn't know that though. The FBI did know. The FBI knew in 2020 because they've had this in possession since then. And it says, in particular, he is listed as a passenger at least on at least 8 flights between 93 and 96, including at least 4 flights which Maxwell was present. And then over here, you could see that it says Epstein's private jet many more times than previously reported, including the period we would expect to charge in a Maxwell case. So that's important. Let's see what Trump's gonna say about this. Has he said anything yet as of today? I don't know. It's not good. So you have Pam Bondi, Cash Patel. These guys lied. They lied right to our faces, and they're doing it to protect Trump. All those pages redacted and all that's being hidden from us. That's supposed to be the Transparency Act. I think that all of these guys need to be charged. Every single one of them. I think the Attorney General, I think I've said this for years, our DOJ, our CIA, our FBI, everybody that's part of these, or not everybody, but these departments, these agencies that have been corrupt and infiltrated from the inside, they need to be dismantled. They're not good for our country. I also wanted to share, I don't know if I snip tooled it, but let me see. I hope I did, because this guy was literally texting. This was a storage issue thing. He was texting foreign diplomats. And if not, if we can't find it out, I'll just show you where to find it. Yeah, a lot of this stuff. Yeah, it is the Southern District of New York Court. All right, it's not working. Some of it's not working, but I'm going to show you. I just gotta find it. So here we go. No, that is not it. We're gonna go through everything. We're gonna go through everything. And I thought, just as a reminder, I'll share this with you guys too, so we'll never forget.
Who is currently holding, this is way off the topic, but who has Jeffrey Epstein's
Black Book?
Black Book?
FBI.
But who? That is, I mean,
Oh,
there's.
that's under direct control of the director of the FBI. Just like the manifesto from the Nashville school shooting
Yes.
of the Catholic school.
Yeah.
We still haven't seen that, right? It's not the Nashville police or PD saying we don't want this out. The FBI airmailed into that operation and said, this is not getting out. Because they do that because this is another government gangster operation. All these local law enforcement communities get funding from the DOJ and FBI for
Right.
local programs. And if you don't cooperate, you're not getting your $1 million for this, and you're not getting and that's a lot of money to these local districts. That's how they play the game. That's why you don't have a Black Book.
And guess who's playing the game now? He is now currently the director of the FBI, who has been caught lying in front of Congress about these files. This didn't age too well. This was in 2023 when I was Cash's fan. This is that time. And now he's that guy. He's the one playing these gangster games. And who's holding him accountable? Like, who's policing the police? Remember, he's like, oh, we're just letting officers go be good officers. Who is policing the police? I'm so disgusted with this guy. And then, just as a reminder as well, I wanted to it's just, guys, we're being played. Our federal government is corrupt. And I don't know what you and I could do about it. We could make people aware. I mean, what is there for us to do?
Yeah, sure. If I
Could I just interrupt for
Sure.
1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering
I
her.
mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on that.
She's so complicit, and charges need to be brought against her. I'm sorry. All of them. All of them. They're not above the law.
Epstein, at a time like this where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
Sure. First, to back up on that, in February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention because I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that. Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be child porn downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. Child porn.
She's such a fucking liar. Excuse my language, guys. I'm so sorry. She is such a liar. And then remember, she goes hard like, and we will not be exposing that, and nobody wants to see that. The heck? Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see people getting abused. But people want to see the names of the clients. I think she says it here too.
Is what they were. Never going to be released, never going to see the light of day. To him being an agent, I have no knowledge about that. We can get back to you on that. And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively the video was not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it was showing he committed suicide. And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the.
She's an attorney. She knows words matter. She knows words matter. The video showed the minute that he committed suicide. Guys, she's full of crap, man. And I feel like she keeps looking at Trump like she needs his approval. I just wanted to post that, I guess, to piss you guys off a little bit. I don't know. Like, this is the administration we're dealing with. This is it. This is the people that we got. The secretary, you got Marco Rubio, Pam Bondi, you got Trump, you got these people who do not care about America. They don't care about their constituents. They don't care about the victims. They don't care. Their biggest concern is protecting these big wig names. And guess what? Trump is part of it. I hope I didn't piss you guys off that much. So this is just a couple videos that I wanted to share.
Trump's name is actually listed in the
memory lane. Let me see what else I have here. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I'm trying to go back to if I can find it. I don't know where I don't know where the page went, so I do apologize. Oh, it's right here. Okay, great. I was looking for it. Here we go. All right. So again, guys, they created Voidzilla, Dropsite, and Gmail all worked collectively to create this for us, the public, to review after the federal government didn't put it out. So you want to go to Files, DOJ. Well, you got to go to Jeffrey. You're going to go to DOJ. You see how it has court records. Again, I did not share the page, guys. I'm sorry. I'm slacking today. Let me add it to the screen again. I'm slacking on my pimping today. I'm so sorry. Yes, I said slacking on my pimping. All right. So we got Files, Jeffrey, DOJ, and then you want to go to the Volume 8 official DOJ latest, and that's where you'll find everything. What I didn't know the first couple hours of going through this is that these files that I thought were annoying because they covered the screen, it'll pop up soon. They all have something of interest. And this is exactly where you want to go to find the text messages. Steve Bannon, questionable. I used to like Steve Bannon. Questionable, guys. You have to go through these messages. Everything is here. DJT, this is April 2018. DJT certainly moving back to your base. Good job. You'll notice when you read these that Jeffrey Epstein is constantly giving Bannon like, attaboy, good job, keep up the good work. Weird coding. They were literal friends. I don't know what Steve Bannon has said on the record. I know Steve Bannon on the record has said he spent a lot of time with Jeffrey because he was working on a documentary and that he's allegedly got, I think, anywhere between 15 and 16 hours of footage. There was an actual trailer for it. It would be great if I can find it. Let me see if I can put it up for you guys. That trailer came out because I feel like I've seen it before. And it never... The movie never came out. The documentary never came out. So let's see if I can find it. It's this mic is in my way. So let's do Jeffrey Epstein. Let's do Jeffrey Epstein. Steve Bannon trailer. Here we go. This is it. And it's such, guys, it's such bullshit. It's such bullshit. The movie never came out. But he says that he's got a lot of time. 15 hours worth of footage. Let's see if this is it.
Of convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein inside a New York City jail.
We were underage. We were little girls. By the time I was 16, I brought him up to 75 girls.
He was glib.
Guys,
he lived essentially like he was Gatsby. He was an absolutely terrifying person to encounter.
I apologize. That is not the one. I want the Steve Bannon one because there was a trailer. Oh, maybe that was it. Let me see. There's a video with Candace
tough.
here.
Get a helmet, man. I'm too pregnant for this. And that was the reason he was spending so much time with Jeffrey Epstein. And they dropped a trailer of this documentary that was supposed to come out, but it never did come out. And instead, you would think they would have released it because then Jeffrey Epstein got arrested and then he committed suicide. But no one is mentioning anything about this documentary since. So we can play the trailer for that documentary that has not been released. Again, this is from back in 2021. Take a listen.
Next month marks 2 years since the death of convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein inside a New York City jail.
We were underage. We were little girls. By the time I was 16, I brought him up to 75 girls.
He was glib, and he lived essentially like he was Gatsby. He was an absolutely terrifying person to encounter.
You own an island, right?
Thank you very much.
Two islands. The islands of Dr. Moreau.
Correct.
Jeffrey Epstein was a billionaire New York businessman whose vast wealth brought an arrogance that knew no limits. He acted as if he could have anything he craved.
Reporting the FBI is now looking into how it can interview Britain's Prince Andrew over his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein.
I made my living from old thinking, but the future is for the way women think.
The way women think.
That's correct.
Is that not a sop because of all the depravity you've done against young women? And your new sop is that their women's thinking is the future?
No, I've always believed that women would in fact be able to take over. I'm a firm believer and supporter of Time's Up.
Federal prosecutors said yesterday video of Epstein's jail cell when he made his first suicide attempt no longer exists.
And Jeffrey Edward Epstein.
Have you ever been convicted of a crime?
Yes.
Epstein got away with his crimes because nearly every element of society allowed him to get away with them.
This morning, we're learning new details of the exact cause of death of former registered sex offender and financier Jeffrey Epstein.
The greatest threat that people put in solitary confinement is they try to kill themselves. Imagine that. You're only in a room for 24 hours, you start to go crazy.
Epstein's life.
So that was the trailer, the first one that I had. So Steve Bannon spent a lot of time with Jeffrey Epstein. And by doing so, he was able to collect information and gather video and essentially get what he needed for this documentary that never got released. I'm trying to find keep losing my place with guys, just so you know, it's 2 a.m. right now, so I'm a little tired and still a little under the weather, but I wanted to put this video up because it had been bothering me that all this crap is out here and nobody's talking about it. All right, we're back. I had to take a quick pause. So here you click on the faces. It's just like if you have an iPad or an iPhone, you know, you can. So this is what was in the files that were uploaded. So we'll go to Steve Bannon. And I started reading all the way from the top. DJT is certainly moving back to your base. Good job. Thanks. He should leave Syria in exchange for the Iranians leaving Yemen. Interesting crypto. Everyone wants in. So amusing. So there's a lot of weird shit that goes on here. He invites him to the Bahamas. Weird stuff. There was something that I thought I screenshotted, but I didn't. Guys, just go through this. I'm gonna wrap this video up because it's 2 a.m. It's 2:13 a.m. and I gotta get some rest. But go through this, guys. Go through this. Again, the link is gonna be in the description. Hopefully it works. If it does not work, please comment so I can send it to you, or if not, it'll be on Voidzilla's page as well. He linked it. That's where I got it from. But check these out. There's this weird shit. The way they talk about people in power. And guys, just so you know, all these people of importance. This is Woody Allen's ex-wife, and the way they talk is weird. It's weird. Confirming dinner. I'm not gonna read it all again because it's late. But go through this. They talk about Allen. They talk about how he likes them young. He tells her, like she says, contrary to what you and Woody think, I am a nice person. Wink face. He goes, glad to see you are having your period still. Like, cause he was like, why are you being so nice to me? You sound like Donald Trump, and that's not a good thing. Agreed. Sorry. Like just weird, bizarre, but there's things that are important there. She continues to talk shit about Trump and blah blah blah. Weird shit. Tell Woody Suki has a younger sister. It's just like you to be interested in the younger sister. At least you're consistent. I thought Mika blah blah comeback of the picture of the Cheerios being for small hands against Donald Trump was good. That must have been like some meme or something going on with that. But like just weird stuff, guys. Weird. Talk about Stephen Hawking. All right. So as I did a little bit more research, I realized that this guy right here, all right, let me meetings. That's nice. Yeah, this guy's he's a loser too. I'm trying to find one that's like he's a freaking diplomat. Of course, we all saw this one. This is the Congresswoman Plaskett. When she talks about, oh, they're asking about Rona. What is that? Remember that? He's opened the door to questions who are the other henchmen at Trump organization. This is JE. Yep, very aware, waiting my turn. How much longer for you? Hours. Go to other meetings. 9:50 a.m. At 11 something. Cohen brought up Rona, keeper of the secrets. Rona, quick, I'm up next. Is that an acronym? Remember that? That was in 2019. A congresswoman is texting Jeffrey Epstein while she's speaking at Congress, in front of Congress. But you guys saw that in the news. And if you didn't, YouTube it, but it was sick shit that they just brushed under the rug. I think Jasmine Crockett came to her defense and said, it was just, it's all, guys, it's all fake. In the words of Candace Owens, it's all fake and gay. Politics are fake. They're all dirty. They're all playing games. They don't care about the American people. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. What do Americans do? We're at the point where do you just stay quiet and just say, yeah, it's just the way the government is ran? What are we to do? The corruption is wild, and I'm probably talking crazy because I'm tired and it's 2 a.m, but I encourage you guys to check this out. Do it on your own time. I did it tonight during the evening, and then I did some groceries. Like I've been in and out of it, but now I'm home. I'm locked in. And I still want to keep going. I still want to keep reading, but obviously I have to go to bed soon. But guys, do it. Here we go. That is his assistant, Rona. She called out Roger is on line 1, corroborator. Good work. Like he's literally telling, he tells Bannon the same thing. Good work. Good job. I don't know how. I don't know why. I don't know if it's money. I don't know. I doubt this lady Plaskett is involved in anything. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what she's involved in. But to have a known pedophile, because this was in 2019. So all this is after 2007, 2008. To have a known pedophile, Jeffrey Epstein, have messages like that in between the two is not normal. And to see Jasmine Crockett try to pretend that it is, that's a problem. Let's see what else they talk about. If the titles of each section are misleading, it talks about asset value and then related loans. And then loans payable. These are all tricks. Asset owns less than 100% operating property. What were your takeaways? Thinking. Yeah, because she's a dumbass. Was it fun? No. Were you surprised by the rabid Republican defense? Of course not. Like, how did this conversation even happen? He'll talk about his grades. What privilege stands behind the non-release of his college transcripts? Great outfit. You look great. Guys, this is weird. Are you chewing? Not anymore. Chewing interior of my mouth. Bad habit from middle school. Like, they're friends, bro. Like, this is weird. He opened the door to questions who are the other henchmen at Trump. Okay, I already read those. Fucking weird. Weird. This guy is the one that I wanted. that I thought was interesting as well. On the train to New York, just met your friend POTUS. See if you still have your wallet. I'm still here with Steve. Mind you, Jeffrey does talk a lot of shit about Trump, which is kind of confusing because we're all pretty convinced that Trump is part of this, and Trump he's obviously complicit. I can't say obvious because I have evidence, but it's obvious the way they're trying to redact and trying to hide the stuff. So he says, see if you still have your wallet. Say hello, and I've not got so much to lose as you. I'm done at the reception. Can I come early? 8 to 10. Traffic is collaborative, of course. You know what? I didn't look up this guy's name. The other guy that I looked up was different. Now I'm interested to see who this guy is. So give me a second. ANDRZEJ. Duda. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Oh, guys, this is what I'm talking about. The fact that this guy has so many connections with so many high people in power, and they want to pretend that this is a hoax. It's a problem. It's pissing me off. It's a problem, guys. All right. Is a Polish lawyer and politician who served as the 6th president of Poland, 2015 to 2025, before becoming president. Wait, what? Sorry. I'm half asleep. Sorry, guys. Before becoming president, he served as a member of the Surge MP from Barara. So this guy was the president of Poland. And this is the conversations that he is having with a known pedophile. In 2019, that's not too long ago. On the train to New York, just met your friend POTUS. See if you still have your wallet. I'm sitting here with Steve. Is he talking about Steve Bannon? Probably. Steve Bannon is one of his freaking favorites on top. Say hello. I've not got so much to lose as you. All right, 6:13. All right, that's the next day. I'm done at the reception. Okay, we read this. Okay. Thanks. I'm told it is impolite to come earlier than agreed. Must have been the tale of a bore. You can even come as early as breakfast anytime. Always a treat. Not often enough. I'm the one to say thank you. Safe travels. Okay, that was all that was on this text message thread. All right. Is this the guy? This guy is the one that I looked up. And let's see if I have it up. Is that his name? We're done with this guy. Guys, what I'm doing is I have two screens, so I'm just comparing the names from the file, from the text messages in regards to the internet. So I'm just making sure that that's the same guy. So let's read him. Let's read about him. Is a Slovak politician and diplomat, former Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Slovak Republic. In addition, this gentleman also served as president of the United Nations General Assembly for the 72nd season from 2017 to 2018, a key figure in the mediation of the post-conflict crisis in the Western Balkans. This gentleman also served as an executive assistant to the UN Secretary General's special envoy of the Balkans from 1999 to 2001. He negotiated, organized, and supervised the referendum on the independence of Montenegro in 2006. So he's a diplomat. He's another, the connections that Jeffrey has is so wild to me. All right, so let's see what we have here. Blah, blah. Great. Ask him about a sandwich. Too late. This is again 2018. There were sandwiches in his office. I'm glad, but nobody offered. On Wednesday, you can tell Mike, blank, you sound like an effing moron. Conversation with Steve. They're very close, and I think it will break the ice. Okay, I will. It seems like Jeffrey, when he sends messages, they're very encrypted, I guess the word would be. But these guys that are getting the messages, they know exactly what he means, which means that the verbiage that he's using, they're close enough to know the banter or whatever it is. Not banter, but they'll know the key words and what it means. So like when I was younger, my friends and I, we had a term, and don't laugh. When my friends and I were younger, we had a phrase, and it was cat dog. And what that is, some of us who are still friends, we actually still use it. And what it means is that if you and I were talking, or it was the friends group, and somebody came in that couldn't or shouldn't be privy to what we were talking about, one of us would just say cat dog. And that automatically meant like, stop talking. We're done talking about it. Or if our parents were on the, back in the day, you would have two phones. You had a phone. If you had two phones at home and you were on the phone, somebody answered the other one, they could hear your conversation. It was kind of like that. If anybody said cat dog or said like the word was cat dog, that means whatever we're talking about, stop, is done, it's enough. And I feel like we had that because we're friends, right? So all these people that Jeffrey's talking to, they're friends. They know the verbiage that he's utilizing, and they know exactly what he means. Even though me as an outsider reading in, I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? They know. Cat dog. Okay. Do you leave tonight? Yes, from DC. Lieberman resignation in Israel could be a game changer. Yes, he's a heavyweight. Pompeo, one of the few that can get across and that has respect still of Trump. He's talking to a diplomat from another nation about Trump. That's how much pull this guy has. I'm seeing him at 2. Steve brought him from obscurity, a Tea Party member, into the limelight. Really? I didn't know that. Yup. It'll be our first real meeting. A Kansas congressman and West Point graduate. You are back in Florida in the sun. That's not fair. I envy you. Get in line. Fucking oh, I can't. He gives me the heebie-jeebies. Great. Are you out yet? Done with my meetings, on the way to the airport. How was it? Can you speak? Yes. I obviously got on the phone. I think Steve will come too. I'll let you know if I see him. Now, unlikely as UK heating up. Wow, I think so too. He will be in AD tomorrow afternoon. He texted me. He will be in Abu Dhabi tomorrow, but I'm in the middle of a desert. 2 hours helicopter flight from here. Yes, I've been here. And when do you return to AD, which is Abu Dhabi? Safe to assume that. I come back to Dubai on Sunday and continue to Brussels. Early Dubai. All right. They're talking about on my way to the airport. Best part of the trip? Massage. Can that be a code word for something? I don't know. He got a lot of massages. Jeffrey Epstein got a lot of massages. It's frustrating, guys. Just landed in Brussels. Actually, no. And my wife was happy to see me more than usually. Yes, because you sound like a treat. Just landed in Brussels. We have EU foreign ministers meeting here tomorrow. Sharing all this information with a known pedophile, guys. This is the thing that's the craziest thing for me is that these people are texting him as if he's just a regular guy that they went to college with, or a guy that, was a frat brother or something like that. No, this is a known pedophile. And these people are treating him with the utmost respect. It's disgusting. I don't get it. Okay, let's keep going. Just dates. I said today, if Slovakia withdraws from migration compact, I will consider resignation. It's a breaking news all over the media, and it might actually happen. I might have to do it to protect my professional and personal integrity. He's explaining himself to a damn pedophile. The prime minister is still on your side. This is crazy, guys. I'm gonna log off this because I just keep getting more mad, and I think it's because I'm sleepy and I'm tired. Today was a crappy video, and I apologize. I wasn't prepared. I was just so overwhelmed with everything that I was seeing. I might not even post it, so we'll see. I'm gonna rewatch it, and if I think it's worth posting, I'll post. Just take it easy on me with the comments. Like, just kidding. Be honest. I wasn't as prepared as I should have been, but I also want you guys to look at this yourselves. Look at it yourselves. If you find anything interesting, make a video about it and tag me or comment below. I think that we need to collectively, as a nation, break this down. It's time for us to be the FBI now. We got to be the FBI. We got to Candace Owens this shit. I hope you guys have a great night. I need to go to bed. My contacts are so dry. And again, if the video is trash and I do post it, I do apologize in advance. Today was a rough one. Thank you guys.